Hey guys, how's it going? Week 12 on DraftKings means Thanksgiving week. So I've got a first look for you on the Thanksgiving slate on DraftKings. 3 games on this slate with some kind of good matchups. No really super high priced players. And I think that there's a lot of different routes that you can go. No matter which tournament or cash games you're playing in, I think you're going to have a good time on Thanksgiving. Obviously, great holiday. Spend time with your immediate family. Please be safe. This is a different Thanksgiving than ever before. Let's do what we can to join together as society so we can get past this and get back to normal as fast as possible. But at least football and fantasy football on DraftKings is normal for us. And we have 3 pretty fun looking games from matchup perspectives here, with Houston visiting Detroit, the Washington football team going to Dallas, and the Baltimore Ravens in the nightcap against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 really tough defenses, but 2 really talented offenses that know each other pretty well. And we've seen things happen fireworks happen just like last week with the Titans and Baltimore, where again, 2 tough defenses, but there's things that they can do against one another, especially as how well as they know one another. So thank you guys very much once again for being here. Drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. We also have the join channel option now. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, you can click that button. If you don't see the button, it's right next to subscribe. In the description down below, there's going to be a link for you to join if you'd like to. You get some really cool emotes as we get more subscribers on the channel. I will continue to add the emotes. We have about 40 of the best emotes on twitch.tv, raring and ready to go. As soon as we get those subscriber numbers up here, I will keep adding those emotes. You get a nice little badge next to your name. And the biggest value add to all of this, you get access to the subs only channels in Discord. There will be a link down below as well in the description. Just click show more to go join the Discord. And then you're going to have to attach your Discord email to your YouTube email, link those accounts. It takes a few hours. Then your name will turn red in Discord. You'll see all the subs channels pop up. That's where you're going to really become a part of this community, over 4,500 strong in the Smiz Life Discord at this point. And there will be people there to talk to you about daily fantasy, anything, depending on what season of sport you play, as long as you're subbed to the channel. That you'll have access to those rooms. That's where you're going to really improve day in, day out, is surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, that are just trying to improve every single day at Daily Fantasy. So a great community that we've built over the last 4 years. Excited to meet you as you become a part of that. So without any further ado, let's get to the Thanksgiving slate. Take a look at what we got. So at quarterback, Deshaun Watson is 7,400 and has been an absolute monster except for the win game at Cleveland. So Detroit, though, has been a really bad defense, and especially bad against the run. We'll get to that when we get to running backs. I know that some of you have already thrown up your stuffing in your mouth just thinking about Duke Johnson at this point, but Detroit has just been horribad on the season, and especially in the last 4 weeks, allowing like 136 yards rushing to opposing teams. They're just getting gashed left and right on the ground. But Deshaun Watson presents an interesting problem. He's got a great floor based on his recent rushing usage, and he has given us that touchdown upside he gave us in week 11. That is certainly present in his game. But aside from that win game, 300-yard bonus in pretty much every game except against Jacksonville, and obviously the win game. I'm throwing out week 10 for Houston. That just doesn't even count in my eyes. I'm judging this team off what they do when things are clean, and he's got really good receivers to throw to. Yes, they should not have traded away DeAndre Hopkins, but Cooks has been very good, and Fuller has been outstanding this year. We can afford him, but I do want to talk about some other guys. This slate is going to be about stacking. Obviously, correlate your lineups. There's only 3 games on it, so if you hit, you want to hit really big. Lamar Jackson, there are basically 2 guys that you compare him with. 3 if you extend that out to, like, you know, from Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews being the number 1, Marquise Brown being the number 2. I would say that Bill Snead is probably the 3rd option to stack him with. The 4th option would be like Miles Boykin, but he's going to be 1% or less. He's very hit or miss. You're not going to get much volume with like maybe 2 targets with Boykin. So it's really those top 2 guys with a sprinkle of Snead on top of your stacking him. Ben Roethlisberger has been outstanding, throwing the ball over 40 times pretty much every game. They've gone to a really pass-heavy sort of offense with the 3 receivers that they have. We're going to have to monitor Juju Smith-Schuster's playability this week. Like, how injured is he after stepping on the rock part of the penalty flag as he kind of limped off but Claypool has been outstanding. Juju recently has been very good. And Deontay Johnson, in any game that he stays healthy, has been a godsend for us in fantasy. And his price has not climbed where he's unplayable yet, right? So we're getting somebody, if he starts and finishes a game, you're getting between 10 and 20 targets from him every single game. The fact that he had games where he left early is the thing that's holding his price down. And there's some people that are still in, I don't trust him, right? People are too stuck on the word trust with, I don't trust that he can finish a game. You don't have to trust. Just be on the right side of the math and don't worry about trust. You can also play Eric Ebron with him as well if you're stacking with Roethlisberger. Stafford, we do have to see who he's got available to him this week, as there is just a rash of injuries on Detroit. Obviously, Houston has been a team that we have stacked against. They do have that game is the highest totaled game on the slate at 51. So stacking Stafford and bringing it back with some options if you wanted to get a little bit cheaper, coming down from 74 to 5,800, and stacking Stafford, whether with one or two of his players, whether it's Hawkinson, Jones, or if he gets Galladay back here, if you just want to play him without Swift, that's fine. And then bring it back with some of the Houston guys, that's fine with me there. Alex Smith has actually been pretty good facing the last few weeks, and now he faces the Carnival. But is he going to put you in a position to win a slate on a short 3-game slate? That's kind of tough. I like the parts better than I like the quarterback or the stacks in that situation. And if Andy Dalton doesn't get his head busted open like he did a few weeks ago against Washington, he can throw touchdowns. There's plenty of guys in this offense. There's so many weapons on Dallas that if he stays upright against Washington, which again, that's quite a task with as good as their front seven is, but Cooper and CD and Gallup and Pollard and Zeke and even Schultz, there's a lot of weapons on this offense that can bust big plays. And in the case that they do, Dalton at 5,600 becomes an extremely talented option. But I'm going to lock into Sean and I'm going to move on to running back, where I think that we can kind of do some damage, because there are no expensive running backs on this slate, but there are talented running backs on this slate. For the sake of this first look, I know it's Monday when I'm recording this, and by Thursday we'll have the absolute news, and it's the first game of the day, so you're not going to have to take too many chances with it. So we'll know an hour and a half before kickoff whether or not DeAndre Swift is going to go. But if he is a go, returning from this concussion, I think that we go back right to where we were before he missed last week. We saw the difference in this offense. They could not score against the Carolina Panthers, who have been a team that we've streamed running backs against all season, and they just got blasted. Peterson can't do it. Carrion can't do it. DeAndre can, and he's 6,500. I'm going to assume that he returns from injury here in this spot. Another player who has played a lot more snaps recently and getting all the super high leverage carries. All the inside the 5 carries, except for like one on a hurry up play 2 weeks ago, have gone to Antonio Gibson for the Washington football team. The kid is looking very explosive down the stretch. Obviously, he's not a great pass blocker. Yes, I understand that McKissick plays a bunch of snaps, half of the snaps. I'm hoping that as the season trends on, we get more to a 60-40 split with Antonio Gibson, knowing that we're going to cede some of the passing game usage in long down and distance and third down snaps, where he's only played 10% of those so far this season, where McKissick's played like 90% of the third down snaps. Give me Antonio Gibson at 6,000. It's just entirely too cheap. And that leaves us somebody for the nightcap who has finally been unlocked. The Baltimore Ravens have 3-headed monster at running back. And maybe I'm jumping the gun here, and maybe it's still a 3-headed monster. But J.K. Dobbins, and I understand this is a really tough matchup, but it's a 3-game slate and we have to make something happen. But I'm fine if you want to play a wide receiver in flex this Thanksgiving. I get it. Makes total sense. But I do want to talk about J.K. Dobbins, who played over 70% of the running back snaps for the first time this season. We've seen more of an equal split. He is clearly the most talented back right now that they have on Baltimore, and the way that they run offense is very conducive to him scoring touchdowns and being the guy. If we can get 15 carries out of J.K. Dobbins, assuming that Pittsburgh doesn't come out to a massive lead, this kid can go. And we saw 18 points from him last week with a touchdown. They don't really involve their running backs all that much in the passing game, but he is talented enough there to do some damage. He's not quite Derrick Henry-esque. But again, this is a 3-game slate. You want as much upside as possible. And at 5,500, these 3 rookie running backs on Thanksgiving at the prices that they're at are just too cheap and allow us to kind of do other things. So let's just plug in a defense. I'll go with them because they're in the middle and I didn't even look at who it was. That leaves us 3 wide receivers and a tight end. Terry McLaurin is $7K and the most expensive guy. You can basically do whatever you want with stacks and double stacks and bringbacks on this slate. It's very easy to fit, guys, which fine. I'm not against that at all, especially on a slate like Thanksgiving, which is, as far as DraftKings is concerned, it's a high entry day slate. Like people that maybe don't always play on DraftKings, like, oh, I'm going to go try out DraftKings on Thanksgiving. I'm off work. I'm going to make a couple lineups on Wednesday night. Oh, there's this tournament my friend told me about. I can get in. And you want people to be able to make lineups that they're comfortable with, right? So like it's very possible to do that. Terry McLaurin gives us a solid floor every single week with the amount of targets that he gets. He's going to get just about the best matchup that he can handle. Going up against this Dallas Fantasy Carnival, we saw him put up 7 of 11 with a touchdown the last time he played. He lives the most within this, 5, 6, 7 catch, 80 to 99 yard range recently. That's where he's at. But we do have the possibility for upside, especially in a game that could kind of shoot out if they can keep a little bit of pressure off of Andy Dalton, as we saw Dallas do very well against Minnesota in week 11. So Terry McLaurin's going to be in there. He's got a good floor and a good ceiling. Deontay Johnson talked about how good he is in games that he has started and finished. 16 targets, 11 targets, 10 targets. This is Keenan Allenian, especially, sort of usage from Deontay Johnson. Yes, he left this game early. 15 targets, 9 catches. Got hurt, 13, 10. Every game that he has started and finished, he has gotten you double-digit targets. We're talking about a mid-teens floor with a 30-point ceiling. He only has 4 touchdowns on the year in a very high-volume pass offense that I don't think you can take every piece away from. Claypool is a problem, and Claypool is priced at $6,100. If you'd rather go with him with the amount of usage that he's had over the past month, I get it. He's also a bigger target. He scores basically a touchdown every week at this point, with 10 touchdowns through the first 11 weeks of the season. And this is somebody who was in a complete part-time role earlier in the year. Now he's playing full-time snaps and getting tremendous usage. This is why Roethlisberger is throwing it 40 to 50 times a game, because James Conner, I get it if you want to go with James Conner, especially against Baltimore. If you want to leverage all the passing game usage that the Steelers have and go with James Conner, but like he's getting lifted sometimes for Benny Snell. So Benny Snell usage is really frustrating. And then James Conner not really getting us 25 touches any time that he's out there, and we're not getting 100% of the goal line snaps. But like, as much as they're throwing it, I think that Conner's a good leverage play, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you on this slate. But like, Chase Claypool's been an absolute monster, and the usage that he's getting inside the 10-yard line, where they're throwing him a lot of screen plays, is kind of taking away a lot of that touchdown upside usage once they get near the goal line for Conner as well. So Claypool, him and Johnson are very close to me in terms of like which direction I want to go. They're not quite a coin flip. I prefer Johnson on DraftKings if you're playing on FanDuel, where it's a little bit more touchdown dependent. I understand if you want to go with Claypool, assuming that they're very similarly priced, just like pretty much everywhere. And at tight end, we have Mark Andrews. If you want to attack Pittsburgh deep, he had a monster game last week. Highest talent play at wide receiver on this slate. We've seen Hawkinson price kind of yo-yo a whole bunch, where a few weeks ago he's been at 5K plus all year. Then he dropped down to 4,200. With all the injuries that they have for Detroit, he has seen more volume, which has given him a higher floor, and all the end zone and red zone usage that he has had, which is top 5 at the position in basically, if you add up both of them, he's one of the top 5 touchdown expected tight ends this year, and tight end's been a complete dumpster fire for us. He bumped up a little bit to 4,700. You want to go with him in your Stafford stacks, he's probably my most preferred option in those. Eric Ebron as well continues to perform, continues to give us targets and high value targets around the goal line. 3 touchdowns in his last 4 games, only 4,100. I probably prefer him to Andrews, but again, it's a 3-game slate and you're gonna have to hit on something. We need a little value for this lineup. So at 2,900, yeah, there's a lack of floor, right? Or there's not a lack of floor. There's kind of a dangerous floor for Jordan Akins, but there's the possibility of touchdown upside here. We have 2,900 that we have to pay for him. It ain't all that much, guys. If you want to go with Fells as well, I think that Akins is the better player personally. So I'm probably going to lean towards him, especially for this lineup, leaving me 5,400 to spend on a wide receiver. I'm going to go to the man holding the turkey on the cover. CeeDee Lamb has been tremendous this season. Yes, the volume has come down in this post-Dak Prescott 2020 year. Obviously, earlier in the year when they were able to throw the ball all over the place with Dak, CeeDee Lamb had a high floor, high ceiling because of his routes that he runs in the slot. He's still running those routes. Andy Dalton is not great, but he is at least capable. And if they can put up points, if they can keep Dalton clean just a little bit, CeeDee Lamb has the possibility for 5,400 to get you those 15 DraftKings points that we need, with a possibility for an even higher ceiling if he can get loose and break a long one against this Washington secondary. So I'm going to plug him in to finish this lineup off, giving us Deshaun Watson to Jordan Akins, bringing it back with DeAndre Swift. We've got Gibson and McLaurin, the two highest volume guys on the Washington football team. We're going to bring them back with CeeDee Lamb. We're going to correlate Deontay Johnson with Dobbins as well. So we've got a very highly correlated lineup for cash and tournaments for this Thanksgiving slate. I wish you all the best. I hope that you have a great day enjoying fun, family, and food, whether it's in person or over Zoom. Just be safe. Do what you have to do. Best of luck on this Thanksgiving slate. And look out for another video right here.
He's a legend.